All right. Another beautiful day out here in Atlanta. Today is one of those days for me. It is 2 o'clock. Got a super late start. Not get enough sleep last night. Went to bed too late. Woke up way too early. And it's like so counterproductive because you wake up early, but then you get like, start moving slow. Plan for today, we're gonna do some street photos. And while we're doing that, we are gonna answer some Twitter questions, or Twitter and Instagram questions. A lot of general questions about photography and like things you can do as an artist to get better. I'm more than happy to provide that insight for you guys. So, let's do this. We're gonna do some daytime street stuff and we'll answer some questions along the way. So far, today is not going good for photography. I ran into two people I knew, started talking to them. Downtown is like dead right now, which is like pathetic. It's Friday afternoon, downtown shouldn't be dead, but it is. So, I don't even really know. I don't know if I'm even gonna try to shoot that much, because it's just, I don't know, I'm not feeling it. Photography may not be going well today, but the footwear game is going well today. Nike Pendleton, great shoe. I'm gonna do one more lap around downtown, see if I can find anything remotely interesting or any good photos. If I can, great. If not, that's gonna be it for today. I'm gonna head home and I'm gonna go ahead and answer your guys' questions. All right, I'm back home. Huge bummer outside with the photography today, but you know what happens. Sometimes you take an L, and tomorrow we're gonna try again. We'll go out and shoot more, and it is what it is. But we're gonna go ahead and answer your Instagram and Twitter questions. If you're not following me yet on either of those platforms, you can check me out at Evan5PS. Occasionally on there, I'll put out a post saying, hey, ask me questions, I'm gonna answer them in today's video. And that is what I did on Instagram today and like a week or two ago on Twitter. So let's go ahead and go through them. We got a lot of questions, so I'm gonna answer them kind of briefly. So if you want me to expand on something, let me know in the comments and maybe I'll make a separate video about it. Arcade in Japan. How has your process changed from when you first started shooting currently, and how did you start making photography a career? All right, so go check out the video I did 2 or 3 videos ago called Finding Your Editing Style. Basically in that video I show like a huge range of how my style changed over time from when I started to where I am now, and along the way I kind of explain tips on how you can get there. So click this right here if you want to go check out that video. And how did I start making photography a career? I worked really hard and I got really lucky, honestly. Right now, I'm at a place where things are going really good and hopefully they keep growing. I'll probably do a separate video on this eventually because that's like the really short, abridged answer. But it's basically work as hard as you possibly can and try to meet as many people as you can and hope for the best. That's all I can really say about that. What do you prefer, taking portraits or capturing landscapes? I like doing both of these things. I like all photography in general, but I'm at this like weird place right now where what I prefer as my art goes against what's making me money. And what I mean by that is I've had a lot of success with landscapes and cityscapes, and I love making those, don't get me wrong. But right now, kind of my passion is leaning towards people and documentary photography, so I'm trying to figure out a way to balance the two so I can do both equally and feed, you know, my business while also feeding my art passion. Someone asked, when can we shoot? Hey, whenever we cross paths. That's how I operate for the most part. Someone asked, are you going to be in Ohio anytime soon, or are you down to shoot with fans? Like I just said in the last one, I usually shoot alone for the most part, but I like to do like meetup type things where I get a bunch of people together and they can all meet each other. It's a good way for me to meet a lot of people as well. It's just my schedule is so busy. Usually when I go out to shoot, I like to be by myself, you know, so I can just focus and do what I have to do. And I don't really know if I'll be near Ohio anytime soon, but who knows? Maybe I'll get the opportunity to do some type of meetup thing out there. Someone asked, have you ever been to Europe? How long are you into the photography field? If you had to shoot one lens for the rest of your life, what would it be? The lens I would use is the 35mm f1.4, 35mm, best lens ever, facts. How long have you been in the photography field? I've been taking photos since I was a kid. I started with this red Canon film camera. I have some of the photos from it somewhere. I think they're at my parents' house. In Georgia, we have these like school contests that we do. So every year I would enter with photography. You know, through my like young adult life when I was in college and stuff, I was always taking photos, and it led me to here. I've always enjoyed being able to document stuff, and I've also always enjoyed being able to use my imagination and create something. So photography is great. Have I ever been to Europe? No, I've never been to Europe. Hopefully I'll get to go this year. Hopefully someone flies me out there for some work. Who knows what's in the cards, but if not, I'm sure I'll end up there eventually on my own. Can you recommend a spot for the ATL Skyline to shoot? Go to the top of the Westin. It's like $5, but you got the best view of the city you can possibly get up there. So that is all for the Instagram questions at Evan5PS. We're going to jump over to Twitter now. We're going to run through these questions really fast as well. What's the best way to get started? Work, work, work. Focus on being the best photographer you can. Don't stress about money. That will come eventually as your work gets better. Focus on meeting a lot of people. Focus on meeting people who are like you, who are just starting out in their field and you're starting out in your field, and you guys can work together and build together. That's what I did. I worked with a lot of music acts who were completely unheard of. I did music videos for them, photos for them, all types of stuff, and it helped build my reputation and build my portfolio. Someone asked, or he said, biggest challenge is composition. Composition for me honestly comes naturally. It's one of like, if I had a natural talent in photography, I think composition would be it. My advice with composition is study different forms of art. Study still life art, study paintings, study, any form of art that requires filling a box, basically. Like when you have a canvas, you have to use certain techniques to fill a canvas while you're painting it, and the same applies to photography when you got the camera up to your eyeball. You have a square to fill, learn the best ways to fill it. That's my advice on that. Question about metering. When I'm trying to take pictures of someone where the sun is behind my subject, they suck, and other people love the sun behind and produce quality. How do I do that? Easy answer. When the sun is behind somebody, basically you need to overexpose the photo so that the light the sun is producing comes around and lights up their face. Best way to do that is with a low aperture lens, something like a 2.8, an f2. Open it up and overexpose the photo, let that light in. And me, I like to kind of block some of the sun, maybe like half of it or the whole thing with the person's head. That acts as like a diffuser and gets rid of the harshest point of the light. But you don't have to do that. Just overexpose it. You should be fine. Just don't do too much. What camera should I buy when I want to start taking headshots? You need to buy whatever camera you can afford with a 50mm lens of some type. Those two together, great starter for portraits. Could you touch on composition? It's different for everybody. Maybe a video. I just talked about it. Maybe I'll do another video about composition eventually. But for now, all you need to know is just study composition. Google it. Google is the key to everything. Everything you ever want to know is on Google and on YouTube. You can teach yourself everything now. Where do you get the music for your videos? Google. Google. I Google music all the time, and I search and I find the music I want. Google and YouTube. What editing software do you use? I use Premiere and Final Cut and Lightroom. Lightroom for photos, Premiere and Final Cut for video. Must-have photo accessory, definitely this right here, drop-proof, hard drive, you gotta have one of those. And I like this Dispatch camera strap right here for the Fuji. That thing's awesome. How do you find your editing style? Just talked about it, made a video about it like a week ago. Click here, you can see the whole thing. It's like 12 minutes long, it's a good video. What do you have in your camera equipment bag? Lenses, blah, blah, blah. What lens do you use most often? Most often, I use a 50 on my Fuji, well, 35 f2, which is a 50 equivalent on the Fuji, and I use my 35mm on my Nikon. And I'll do a separate video about my camera bag. Methods for roaming. How do you know where to go? Basically, this is like a two-part answer. With me, I just go out roaming. I just walk around and I say, like, today I'm just going to go wherever. And usually along the way, I start finding things that I store in my head, like, okay, this spot will look amazing at a sunset, or this photo right here doesn't work right now, but it will work well on a cloudy day. And then I've like filled this memory bank of different places, so based on the conditions or based on what I feel like shooting, I'm able to kind of point myself in those directions based on the scouting I did when I'm just walking around wandering aimlessly. That's what I do. once you start like building a mental map of wherever it is you're at, you can start like creatively putting the pieces together. You know, the weather's like this, that will look good here. Or this person's wearing this, that will look good here. Whatever it may be. How do you break the photo block where you feel like you can't get the shots you want? You got two options. Put your camera down for like a week or a few days, just let yourself chill, let your brain chill. That doesn't work very well for me. What I try to do is just push through it and go out and shoot often, and you know, then you never really get into a block. You just have good days and bad days. Today was a bad day, but 2 days ago was a good day. So, you know, wins and losses. How do you contact models if you're an amateur photographer? Build your portfolio with your friends, with girls you may know. Ask them for favors. Start building up a portfolio. Then start contacting more established models. Do you think it's important to have a fancy camera to shoot great photos, or can you achieve the same quality with an iPhone? You can take a great photo on any camera. It doesn't matter. It could be a Lego camera. It will take a great photo if the photo is great. The problem is that great photo can only go so far depending on what it's captured with. If I shoot the same photo with this iPhone as I shoot with this Fuji X Pro 2, I'll be able to print this very large and do more in editing if I needed to than with the iPhone. So depending on what your goal is, you can take a great photo with this, but if you capture something that's going to be a classic photo, it might be better to do it on a better camera. Yeah, that was it. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for your questions. You know, sorry today's vlog part of this video is kind of just like, kind of blah. You know, it happens sometimes. Today was not a good photography day, but I'm glad I was able to answer your questions, and I'm glad I put like at least a little clip together and went out and tried something. You know, that's what counts. As always, hit that thumbs up button if you liked what I talked about. If you want me to expand on something or talk more about something, drop it in the comments. Do me a favor, share these videos with anyone who you think will be interested, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.